So Scarlet Witch is one of the most interesting and most diverse characters in the entire MCU, having one of the most interesting and most insane character arcs in the entire MCU. So today we're going to go over from every single character arc she's had in the entire MCU films. And I'm not looking at the comics or the tie-in comics of the entire MCU. This is just the films in general and what kind of thing I think her arc has been through. And of course, major spoilers for the entire MCU. I know some people haven't seen the entire MCU, so if you haven't, please step away from this video, come back. Okay, so first things first, her story really begins in Age of Ultron. We learn a lot about her character because this is really where her character was introduced. Apparently when she was 10 years old, a bombing went off that had to do something with Tony Stark and kind of maybe the weapons he was selling at the time. And this is kind of like the big turn point to her hating Tony Stark, but then I guess eventually her working with Tony Stark and working with Tony Stark instead of kind of hating Tony Stark. So then they, many years later, they were experimented on with the scepter by Stryker, and she got kind of these mind control powers, and this kind of really changed the turn to be used as a weapon and protection against the Avengers and against Stark, and she's still wanting that revenge from what happened in Sokovia with something else to do with Tony Stark. So she's an experiment. She has these different powers until the Avengers come in to steal the scepter, but she's like, well, I don't really want you taking the scepter. So she tries to stop him, but kind of runs away. She puts this mind game into Tony Stark's head that he might actually kill the Avengers with Ultron and what he's capable of, but she just lets him take the scepter anyway because, you know, why not? Many times pass. Her and her brother meet Ultron, this divine being, and she agrees to help him because she thinks only that they're just going to destroy the Avengers, not knowing that he wants to destroy the world. And, once she finds that out, she's not really that happy with it. So she tries to stop Ultron, but Ultron's like, no, really. So they find the Avengers and they end up teaming up because that's the way it goes. So they team up in the final battle, end up helping, and Scarlet Witch's brother ends up dying because, she just has one heck of a life. And so she's like, well, Ultron, you don't really need your heart, and rips his heart out because that's kind of really... So that's Age of Ultron. And already she's kind of having some bumps in the middle of the road. So time passed working as an Avenger. And then we meet Captain America Civil War. The film opens where she's helping the Avengers capture this guy that knows some information regarding, Bucky and regarding some elements like that in the terms. So she tries to help, but he sets off a bomb, puts it in a building, and she ends up killing probably billions of people. She doesn't feel very good about this and kind of just hides in her room because that's kind of what she does, and it doesn't really work out very well. So the Sokovia Accords go out, and she doesn't really know what to agree. She's kind of split on a split side, but Tony's like, you're basically on my side, so he tells Vision to keep her in this house type element, and she doesn't really like that. When she tries to leave, Vision doesn't really enjoy them. So Clint comes in and tries to save her, but Vision fights him, and then Scarlet Witch just puts him in the ground, kind of because they might have a chemistry and relationship going on. But yeah, she just like, let me just put you in the ground because there's not really that much hope for you, and I don't really like you putting. So she puts him on the ground, and then she fights on Cap's side instead of Tony's side. Bit of that Uno reverse. So she goes out with different people, and well, things kind of happen. So she's kind of the big Avenger, and she kind of really needs to learn to make the choice. The choice is made, and she learned. Now she's in this prison that is in the middle of the ocean for helping the Avengers Accord. That's not okay. Somewhat time in Captain America must save him, and then somewhat between Captain America and Civil War and Infinity War, her and Vision are hanging out around Scotland because that's really where they like to hang. Until during Infinity War, Thanos' children go after Vision for his stone that he has because Thanos can't snap his good old fingers without the stone. So a fight ensues in the middle of Scotland, and she's trying the best she can to protect. But then Captain America comes in and puts her back in the wing. One day, meanwhile, they're in Wakanda, and Thanos really wants Vision's stone, so Scarlet Witch is is put tasked to watch him, and she watches him for a while. And then the battle gets hectic, and she's like, well, they could need my help. She helps on the battlefield, but then Vision doesn't really do well, and then Thanos gets the stone and ends up killing Vision. But before that, she thinks she stops him, blows up but then Thanos is like, well, I have the time stone that Doctor Strange gave me if I didn't kill Tony Stark, so he just reversed. So now the Vision's dead. That's really horrible. So she vanishes away. Many years later, about 5 years later, she's brought back with everyone else after Hulk snaps his fingers after they get all the Infinity Stones. Old Thanos is dead, so she brings new Thanos just to kind of give way for pain. So she's like, well, he's like, I don't really know you, and she's like, you will, too bad. And she fights with her. She realizes that Vision is dead, and her and Hawkeye have a lovable conversation, and that's really what her plan goes in from here. And then apparently her and Vision get back together, and he comes back alive in the TV show that they're going to be in on Disney Plus, WandaVision. Don't really know much. So that's a bit of Scarlet Witch's character arc in the entire MCU movie timeline. I bet there's more in the comic books, but this is just mostly in the movie line. If you guys like this video, you guys want to see more kind of character introduced videos, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and hit that post notification bell so you guys never miss when I upload another video. You guys can also check out my podcast to do every other Tuesday morning with a friend of mine. It's called the 2 Peas in a Pod podcast. You guys can also check my Instagram at general_Daniel77. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. General out.